Welcome to the Pioneer Agronomy Update. We are in Sabin, Minnesota, and getting an update on crops, but getting an update on technology as well. Pat VanLith with us, Digital Business Manager with Granular. Pat, you've got coverage in Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Give me an idea what you're seeing as far as the crop.
You bet. So everywhere is about the same. We're all kind of on the razor's edge as far as keeping this crop alive with the moisture that we've got. If you've been lucky enough to pick up a rain or two in the last couple of weeks when it's finally cut loose, we look a little bit better. But regardless, at 2 o'clock, it's a good time to go inside and have a glass of lemonade because you don't want to go look at stuff.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing when you think of the genetics, really what that crop looks like with the lack of rain we've had this season.
Absolutely. Customers are calling our reps and calling us as employees and commenting about how this crop is holding on and how things look so good compared to what it's been against. So if we can just keep the rain coming here a little bit during this grain fill, hopefully we can have a decent crop come fall.
Well, we're going to talk about some of the tools that are available. Granular Insights. Educate me about Granular Insights.
You bet. So as we look at this drought that we're in and the low moisture situation that we're in, we're finding a lot of the variability in the field. And we've got some tools that can help our farmers find that variability and be able to, at least know where those situations are at and not be surprised when harvest comes. And one of them is Granular Insights and our directed scouting. And work with your Pioneer sales rep. They can get you hooked up with Granular Insights and, more importantly, our directed scouting, where it's going to, week by week, it's going to compare those satellite images and show you the variability out in your field. And hey, those are the spots to go check. Do we have disease? Do we have drought pressure? Obviously we do, but what's it look like? How bad is the crop in that area? And so when we look at it, if we just look at the fields here and we pull up a satellite image, so hold on, excuse me, there we go. And Digital Business Manager does not mean IT guy, just so you know. So this will just take a minute to chew through. There's our true color satellite. We can look at that. But here's our vegetative index. And so when we look at that, we've got the different areas outside of these pivots that obviously are a little bit stressed, and then there's some areas. And one thing that some of the guys with some irrigation pivots, they can tell when a nozzle is blocked, even with this. So it can be very useful to kind of be watching your fields. If you look over here, here's our health index, medium on our scout risk. It's low variability across the field, but it's had a lot of high in-season change, and that's coming from our corners.
So how often is does the imagery changing? Is it you can gauge it week by week, or how does it go?
So we're getting typically daily images, but they usually try to shoot for 3 to 4 a week, but every week it's analyzing the images that are coming in and giving you that report of which fields are changing the most.
Well, fertility, obviously, something we like to pay a lot of attention to, and with Granular Insights, there's really a way to monitor that nitrogen as well?
Absolutely. So we've got, inside of Granular Insights, we've got our nitrogen monitoring. Some of our Pioneer sales reps are going to be able to have access to this in 2022. Typically, it's our certified services agencies, but some of our Pioneer reps are going to do some of this. But when we look at our applications of nitrogen over the season and what's that doing to raise that crop, and taking in the weather variability as well as our soils and then the plant, what that all is doing, and kind of gives you an outlook of what your nitrogen needs are going to be over the season. So if you look at this one in particular, of course we're past tassel, but if we move that back just a little bit, we're going to have right here is our precip for that particular day, but then we've also got our nitrogen needs to reach our yield goal. Then another useful piece of this is if we go to our nitrogen performance, it's going to graph out what our field levels are, what our crop uptake has been, as well as our mineralization, volatilization, leaching, all of that. So give you a very good picture over the year of what that nitrogen is doing out in your field. It's our most used input and our most expensive input most of the time, so it's something you want to keep track of.
We get so much data. How usable is it? How easy is it to use for that grower?
Absolutely. When you've got a program like Granular Insights, being able to put that information in there to utilize and at the end of the year do some of our summary and insights, it's just 2 or 3 clicks and you're going to be able to tell hybrid by soil type, hybrid by population, hybrid by planting date. Inside of our summary, we've got harvest moisture, across your whole farm and telling you what the most acres were and how profitable they were. It's going to give you moisture by hybrid, all of those things that we can go ahead and do. Variety on the soybeans is the same way. So we're going to be able to do variety by soil type, variety by population, variety by the field variability. So that is all in there. It's very easy to use. Just get your data in there. It's a few clicks to be able to spit out some very useful information.
You take a look at a contrast of last year versus this year, it's got to be a whole different story.
Absolutely. When guys look at the acres that they didn't get planted this year and last year and the acres they did get planted this year, so we go from whole fields of not getting planted to water holes that we haven't planted in 4 or 5 years. So it just is fantastic that we've had that opportunity. Hopefully we can catch a few rains and knock it out of the park here.
So working growers, if they want to do this, they should just check with their local Pioneer rep, or how does this work?
Absolutely. So our Pioneer agencies would be able to get them hooked up with Granular Insights. If you want to dig a little bit deeper, we do have our certified services agencies around North and South Dakota and Minnesota, and those guys can help you with variable rate seeding, phosphorus and potassium, as well as lime. Anything you want to do, getting down to that grid or zone level of soil sampling, as well as nutrient management.
That technology we're looking for. Again, Pat VanLith with us, digital business manager with Granular, and that is our Pioneer Agronomy Update.